Okay, hello everyone. It's me, Joel Clark, and I am in a rare scenario where I get to make a character for Lone Wolf Fists. You see? And this is me talking about how communism sucks. Uh, Thank you, my friend. Good to know the cool people like my stuff. Does this old man's heart some good. Alright, let's get to the dice roller. Okay, let's see here. Oh, it's got six-sided dice. Okay, we want 10-sided dice. And I don't know how many I'm going to roll. Oh boy. Oh, come on. It doesn't do the clatter anymore? That sucks. Uh, oh, that's garbage. There used to be this wonderful 3D display of this. What happened? What? Dice roll tool? Oh, there we go. There we go. D10s. All right. Roll. That's still so much worse than it used to be. Wow, what the this is... Okay, well... Wow, this sucks. Tell me that there's a good one out there. That's a lot better. Okay, here we go. Oh yeah, that one even clatters. Oh, there we go. That's considerably better. It's got a nice sound to it. How do we reduce the amount of d6s here? Is it right clicking? No. Huh. All right. Well, I can make more, but I can't seem to do less. D6 multi. Hmm. Uh, Manage. Okay, there we go. You have to manage. Oh, no. That did not work. Done. Manage. Done? Oh, okay. I see. Hmm. This has proven to be uh, more challenging than initially anticipated. Let's let's just ignore that there's a D6 there, I guess. We'll continue rolling these wonderful D10s. I love them so much. Oh yeah, that looks really good. Okay, so beautiful. This all used to be much better in the past. I don't know what happened to the internet in the last few years, but it's garbage now. Anyway, so I am in a rare position where I get to play Lone Wolfist, and so I'm going to make a character for it for the edification of all of you wonderful people out there in internet land who have an interest in playing this enormous game of mine. I have tried, I have greatly endeavored to make the game approachable and easy. So for this, I'm going to be trying to demonstrate how easy it is and how approachable and fun it can be to make a character. So this is the two-page spread of how to make characters, and here's some of the core stuff, the different like not exactly classes, but basically the classes you can choose from. There's only three, and then there's seven different clans you can choose from. And then there's a eighth like non-clan called the Ronin, and then there's a few secret clans in the back that you can also choose from. Here pretty soon there will be even more stuff you can choose from, including robots and demons. So look out for that in the upcoming Acid and Steel plug concluded. So as you can see, it's a nice seven-step process here. I've already got the campaign pitch from the illustrious Mighty Owl. We're actually doing Blood from God's Eye, the intro adventure, and they've already gotten up to Hell's Armory and they're fist fighting a tank. They've done a really good job of disabling it so far, so I'm joining a game in progress. With another player who's playing a rad scorpion on a cool bike, and I'm going to do a silver phoenix, one of the little psychic guys from Akira. I'm basing my character off of Tetsuo, also from Akira. I liked his little brother energy. I liked that he didn't quite know how his powers worked and how he was sort of a danger not just to others but himself as they sort of manifested. And I liked his little brother reputation with Tetsuo, who is I think about the same age, but he's like taller and cooler and he has a way better bike, and he's like the leader of their little gang. And that's the kind of dynamic I wanted with this other player, because I've played with him for years and I know the guy pretty good. All right, so we can skip forward from the pitches, the campaign, and pitching the concepts. That's what we're going on, and we're going to look at the archetypes. I've already chosen my clan. I'm going to the Silver Phoenix. So I need to choose an archetype, and there are three varieties. There's Cunning, Strong, and Enlightened. Enlightened gets more magic. Strong gets more dice, more effort dice, and the Cunning gets more focus slots and more masteries. So they have more tricks up their sleeves. I don't think Strong is a good uh, like connection for this kind of character. So that leaves me with either a cunning or an enlightened hero. Um, I like enlightened hero the best because it keeps his effort and his health low. So he's fragile and can't do much with just his stuff, but it gives him more chakra, which gives him a lot more magic than other people, and I think that works really well for him. So we're gonna go with enlightened hero. So that's what we're gonna do here. So, as you can see, you don't have to roll for your stats. They're just provided by your degree. Degree starts at 1, and you can just read this from left to right across the sheet. So I've got a good aura, which is going to help me roleplay being kind of physically clumsy and vulnerable while still being protected by this mystical energy around me. I think that works really well for this character. Um, I think that, let's see, we've got archetype, we've got clan. So now I get to select, and this is the most detail heavy part of the whole thing. I get to select techniques, Gupt Kala, and masteries, right? Um, well, actually, there's one thing to do in clans before we leave this. Um, right here on part 4 of part 4, oh, that's easy enough, you get an equipment package. So equipment packages, and I'll scoot down to these guys, are rolled. You roll them randomly. Here we go. So these guys look really cool. You can tell they've got these nifty robes and what have you. I'm going to be one of these guys. Let's see here. Yeah, here we go. I get a personal cult. So you get to roll a d10 for this one. So I'm going to do this right here. I'm going to roll this guy. He looks really good. Let's see what my personal cult says. I get a 2. Now, this is going to be a lucky fellow. So let's see here. Double the number rolled is the number of cultists who consider you some kind of god. Aside from getting with loyalty 10, they are otherwise simple, untrained mortals. So we're going to take that 2 and we're going to double it to 4. And that's going to be our number of cultists. Now, since I've got like a little brother energy, I'm going to say these are literally people that I don't know about that have seen me performing like psychic miracles and have decided I'm the reincarnation of some incredibly powerful individual, probably Smiling Boy, and who's like the original super psychic. Think of the Akira of my setting. And so they think that I'm that guy. And they have like prayer beads and they wander around kind of in my wake and they're super loyal to me, but they're just dudes. Like, I don't even know about them. And they don't even refer to me by my name. They refer to me as Smiling Boy. So that's what's going on with that. I think that's a lot of fun. So that's one thing you get to do. And then you get to do, let me see. I get all this stuff too. All the rest of the stuff in the equipment package. 10 doses of frost, a handcrafted weapon, retailored scrubs and a lab coat or mantle of cloth, blah, blah, blah. So I've got all that stuff. I like the idea of having scrubs. So I'm going to have my guy wandering around the wasteland in scrubs. That's fun. Maybe a jacket too that my big sister gave me. My little big sister. Let's see here. Yeah, here. So this is the most detail-oriented chunk of this. This is the most decisions. You get a form, 3 novice level techniques, and I can either choose an expert level technique or a Gupt Kala. His backstory implies that he just has a lot of power and not necessarily a lot of like skill or mastery. So I'm going to go with an expert level technique that's like kind of destructive. And I know this game pretty well since I wrote it and everything. So I kind of know the one I want. I also get to select a single mastery. Let's see, and I can only choose ones that are available by my clan. So let's scoot on down here back to where we were. And we're going to look at this. All right, so what kung fu do they have? Boop. They can do unearthly gift. That's what I'm going to take. And then they can have intellect, agility, or senses. I'm going to go with... Ooh, goodness, that's a tough one. Um, I like the idea of agility because it means he could do like cool tricks on his bike. But again, since I'm basing him on Tetsuo is kind of clumsy and pathetic as a person. So I think I'm going to go with senses so that I'm better at hiding, and I'm also better at like literally sensing things around us. And because that means in the in the role of the party, I can just be the guy that's like, I have a bad feeling about this, guys, which I think works really well for this character. So I'm going to go with senses as my power. And then if we scoot down to the kung fu, there's lots and lots and lots of it. I need to add something to the background here to give it a little more visual kick. This is my first layout job ever, and it's a little barren. It's been commented on people that buy the game. They're like, there's a lot of white space in this game. Yeah, that's true. You're right. It's my first layout job. The current layout job is much nicer. So you can see like this is the core thing, and it looks identical. But if you look at the actual layout stuff I've done earlier in the book, where you can see the background I've added in, like the texturing and all that, it is just much nicer. Like you can get the arts a lot more expertly put in here. Um, Everything's integrated in this much more visually interesting and pleasant way. You can see this lovely texturing on the page. The page numbers are bigger and in the middle. Like there's you can tell I'm doing a better job now. You learn as you do it, you know. Anyway, oh, I love this art piece. I love Kazuki. He's the guy that does a lot of these things. He just is fantastic. Like look at that handwork. Look at that fountain of explosive blood shooting out of that guy's head. It's just so good. All right, scooting down, scooting down. Earthly gift. Here we go. So, um, this one has a cool thing where you can do again the Tetsuo thing, where you can pay for a lot of these powers by slowly like mutating. And I intend to do this a lot. I intend to be a very unbalanced and maybe even short-lived character that like plays very risky games with his emerging powers. The form here is soundless ways. That gives you psychic talking, where you can, or telepathy, I think is what it's called, where you can broadcast your thoughts at people and read their thoughts. Eerie strike, which gives you a nice psychic ranged attack here, and precognitive evasion, which will keep me alive with my crummy defense and health. Yeah, facing three, that's a really high facing for a defense, and it increases your defense by one. So this is a fantastic defensive uh, form right there. It's really, really good. Fun little form. When it comes to powers, I get three of the novice ones, and I get one expert. I want to choose the expert one first. I think probably the coolest one, or the one that seems the most like Tetsuo to me to start with, is Psychic Shockwave. It does. Oh gosh. I wonder if I can find it. I bet I can. Look at all these. Look at all these. I think it's all the dice I need to roll though. I'm gonna show you guys a YouTube video in this YouTube video. Tetsuo attack. I'm just gonna go with that. Do. Because I had a particular scene in mind. Yeah, I think this is the guy right here. Oh no, the content isn't available. That's tragic. Wonder why not. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. We'll skip ahead. Yeah, so here's our boy. This is gonna be my guy. And he's like, well, this is the dub. This is actually a really good dub, by the way. Splurt that right there. It just you just kind of push outward and just blow everybody up around you. That's what it does. Oh, wait, I didn't mean to click that. Okay, so I want that one. I feel like that's a great Tetsuo's awakening to his powers move. So yeah, Psychic Shockwave. Yeah, wave of destructive psychic force, crushing and mutilating everything in this area and all neighboring ones. All terrain and characters save yourself in the affected area crushed by your attack as though from a calamitous sudden increase in gravity. You cannot spare your allies. This deadly attack is indiscriminate. Um, yeah, it even creates new areas based on your active destruction, which that one did. It made a new chunk of the hallway, which was just this ruined, shattered bulb out from the center point of his psychic force. Beautiful move right here. And the great thing is, much like Tetsuo, I can just do it because I'm an enlightened hero. So I'll have enough energy, prana, to do this, I want to say on turn one. So, yeah, it's pretty rad right there. Um, Oh, I should double check that. I might not have enough. I might only have six, but yeah, I'll double check it. But yeah, this guy, I'll be able to do that quite a lot. And I think that's great. When it comes to the rest of his stuff, I only get three. I really like Metabolic Surge because it's balanced and it'll let me do. I think descriptively this will be a fun one because all it does is make you faster or stronger or tougher for a moment. And it's got really low requirements. You just have to have an uninjured torso. So basically, if they're hitting your arms and legs instead of hitting your core, you can always use this. Um, it's a little fragile because one hit to the torso and it stops working. But earlier in combat, any fight I'm in, any combat I'm in, I can use it pretty much with impunity as a defensive technique, and I always use it to use my lower facing dice however I like because it's balanced. So this is a really fun strategically uh, flexible one. It's got interesting drawbacks and interesting benefits. So I really like Metabolic Surge. I again tactically I don't want to be completely hopeless. Um, so let's see. Telekinesis is another good one that lets me float around. So this is a must have. I can move stuff with my mind and I can float around. So telekinesis is a must have. So we only have one more to do, and I would like to have another defense, but I don't think I have one at this level. Yeah, I've got Psychokinetic Slam, which is a grab. I've got Ghost Light, which lets me shoot out little beams or little orbs of attacks. Psychic Strike, really good one. And then Prana Leak, and Prana Leak is oh man, it disrupts techniques. I'm gonna go with Prana Leak. It's a more active defense. This is like a kung fu counter spell. This is awesome in early rounds. The only problem I have with this setup, though, as you can see, is I've got 030303. I really need something that gives me that higher range that I can use. I'm gonna need to think like, because if I roll high, like if I roll 4 through 9, which is a big chunk of the dice, I'm gonna want to have something like Psychic Strike or Psychokinetic Slam. So I might, let's see, I might learn Telekinesis a little later and go with Psychokinetic Slam. So I'm throwing people around and grabbing them. It also allows me to like force choke people. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna drop Telekinesis and go with Prana Leak, Metabolic Surge, and Psychokinetic Slam. So I've got 6 through 9 covered, and I've got 0 through 3 covered. So the only ones I'm really not going to be able to use are 4s and 5s. Um, Gosh, that's not awful. I guess yeah. There's another 3 here, a 0 here. Yeah, so 4s and 5s I'm not going to be able to use. Um, so that's a little bit of a weakness. And if you're only rolling 4 dice, you have a pretty good likelihood of getting a set of like 4s and 5s just because it's random, you know. So let's see if I switched out Psychokinetic Slam with Psychic Strike, I could go from 5 through 9, which is weaker, but does get me. Well, it doesn't really expand my range though, because I won't have any 9s, so I'm just trading one range for another range. This might be a good one to grow into, though. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, 4s and 5s. I don't have anything for. Gosh, what am I going to do with 4s and 5s? Telekinetic Onslaught. That's just a weakness of this whole thing. I wonder if there's any 4s and 5s in Mind and Web of Steel. Let's look real quick. Let's just give it a little gander. Yeah, Weapon King's Prerogative lets me do 4s and 5s for initiative. That might be a good one to get. Just because it makes me faster and all I need is a spear. Let's see. Noble Weapons Rebuke. Here, 3 through 6. Grand Strategist Opportunity. Again, it needs a spear. And if I go faster than them... Ooh, and I can get around counterattack keywords. And it can't be Prana Drained. So against my fellow Silver Phoenixes, having Grand Strategist Opportunity and Weapon King's Prerogative and a Spear would really give me a lot of ability to, like, yeah, hit them fast and hard. I could hit them a lot with this one. So if I roll a significant amount in 4s and 5s, this would be a great one to use. Okay, so I've got some interesting places to grow with this character. I've got some weaknesses. 4s and 5s are going to be a weakness if I roll those, and I don't have a lot of dice, so that could really hobble me if that happens to be what I get a lot of. But overall, I'm pretty happy with that. I do want to double check and see if I can use my Yeah, here we go. Initial chakra, I get 2 pool recovery. Oh no, okay, so I get 3 in my pool. So I have 6 prana starting out, not 12. So I can't use my most powerful attacks to, round 1. I can use them round 2. I'm gonna wind up getting 12 in round 2 no matter what, unless I get just utterly destroyed in round 1. So yeah, by round 2 I'll be blowing stuff up beautifully. So that's fine. I think that's pretty good. That's a solid starting character. I'll need to choose the specifics of my weapons and what have you. I think I might wield a spear. Yeah, so 1 bottle filled with nutrient pills. I got a handcrafted weapon, a gift from a small cult. So yeah, I'm gonna say that they made me a spear. My cult made me a spear that I got, and it's like got a bunch of religious iconography about Smiling Boy on it. I got my retailered scrubs and a lab coat, um, or mantle of cloth. I do like the mantle of cloth though. I'm gonna go with retailered scrubs and a lab coat. Got my 10 doses of frost, and that's it. Okay, and that's it. I just made my character. If I had thought enough to get the form fillable character sheet, I would have gone ahead and got that one too. But yeah, so that's me making my character. Um, I'm going to present it to the game master and see if they approve. Bye, everyone.